Hey everyone, Mrhappy here, and welcome to Mondays with Mrhappy, aka Mrhappy Mondays, a weekly Q&A show where you ask me questions and I answer them. It's another evening recording, so I'm gonna try to, probably do half an hour of questions, then probably lightning round whatever's not done. I gotta get to bed early tonight, because you can probably see on my face, I'm pretty tired. I've been pumping through a bunch of time-sensitive stuff that's going to be popping up on the YouTube channel over the course of the next week, while trying to keep up on my usual ideas and trying to come up with new ideas as a whole. I've also been pumping stream hours because it's the start of the month, and we have our ad incentive program on Twitch, where if we stream a certain number of hours and run a certain number of ads, we get a big flat payday at the end of the month, and that has been immensely useful to me throughout the last couple of months. So I've been really focused on trying to get those hours done, just so I have that security of knowing that it's done, count up hours. I've been working on other stuff on stream that I can use for videos. So I got plenty of plans, and there's plenty more to come. I've got a ton of ideas bouncing around up here. That being said, I want to get into the Q&A, so let me do my sponsor reads, and then we can get going. First of all, thank you to our sponsors over on Patreon. You don't have to support over there. All my content's available for free here. The people who do choose to support monthly over there, they get my thanks, and I love them for it. So thank you to those people. Also, in the case of my Twitch sponsors that I have going on at the moment, my Every Plate sponsor, which is a US-based sponsor. They're a subsidiary of HelloFresh. It's a more affordable version of HelloFresh, essentially. That's going to be going until October 13th. So if you're in the US and you want to try that, it's $1.49 per serving for the first box, and then 20% off the second and third boxes. Every sign-up nets me a bit of income. It's sponsored, so they're paying me regardless, but I get a little bit more every time somebody signs up, and it's been fantastic for me. So, it's, that's one of the things we got going on. Advanced GG, my 30% discount code's currently not on. I need to re-enable it. I need to reach out to them and get it re-enabled. So right now it's just a 10% discount code. Hopefully I remember to update that in the description. It's just Mrhappy or Mrhappy 10 instead of Mrhappy 30. So I just got to take a peek and see if I can get that updated. And of course, Steel Series. They've been sponsoring us for years now, and you guys really like it. And I really like it. So it's probably pretty good that I like it when they sponsor me, right? Yeah, I say it's a pretty good idea. But we always have that 12% discount code year-round. Sometimes I get questions about it in the Q&As, but either way, it's always there. Anyway, let's get into the questions, because I'm even a little congested, so I want to make sure I get to sleep nice and early tonight. Hashtag Mondays with Mrhappy. I didn't know that a / actually ends the hashtag, not like it stopped me from noticing it. Good morning evening. I like it. Small story question. Sure, the latest story patch is probably the closest we've ever been to following directly in the footsteps of a previous Final Fantasy game. Following in the footsteps, I guess that depends on if you mean copying the story or following it up. I guess I'm not really sure. Without getting into spoilers, there are just strong hints of who our newest companion is. Well, there's not really strong hints. There's one thing people are thinking it means, and I can't disagree with it because it makes too much sense. And what might happen by the end of this small story. Small story? This is leading us to the expansion. This ain't no small story right here. Come on. Always like references to previous games, but don't know how I feel about it getting too close to the source material. Oh, wow. That scroll really took it away, didn't it? The question, do you like this kind of direct fan service, or is 14 better when it's more of its own story? I don't consider this as direct to fan services stuff that we've had before. Omega is the most direct fan service, where it's literally like, we just made up a reason to have this really popular boss in here because we know people would think it was cool. That's the kind of stuff I don't like. When you take elements from another game in your own franchise and completely rework them to make sense in the context of your game, that is when Final Fantasy XIV is doing its best version of fan service. And honestly, you say this might be the closest. The Crystal Tower series is probably, even after this, still the closest we've ever come to following, and I'll use your words, directly in the footsteps. If you just took all the dialogue out of the Crystal Tower series, it literally looks like you're playing Final Fantasy III. It's just that what is explained matches up to things a little bit different, and then it's incorporated into Final Fantasy XIV's world very, very well. This feels very much the same way, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Bonus question, you know exactly what I'm referring to above. Do you think they'll play it straight or try and surprise us? I don't think we have this figured out. I'm pretty confident we don't have this figured out. Hashtag Mondays with Mrhappy. Hi, Happy. Hi. Hope things go well for you and your family. Thank you. The Zadnor question last week reminded me of the 3 Bozja alliances, Castrum, DR, and Dalriada. Big fan. They all have some interesting mechanics. If Square Enix ever wanted to add them to Alliance Roulette, what kind of changes would they need to make? Well, for one, they need to be 24-man, and not, in this case of 2 of them, up to 48. The bigger thing is you literally can't ever add them to a roulette as long as they are a part of Castrum, and as long as they're tied to the entire Zadnor instance setting where you have to go to the NPC and specifically choose to go into those things. They literally can never be in the Alliance roulette. So they would need to be completely taken out of the content they're already in. Delubrum probably the least amount of work, but the other two, you'd need to completely remove them from Zadnor and the Southern Front. Otherwise, they literally could not work. So that's the number one thing. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hey there, Haps. Hello. Hope you had another productive week. Mildly. I'd say so. And hopefully the live letter stream was good too. Yeah, it was all right. With the Paladin rework coming, it seems the only constant DPS job left is Black Mage. So as a recent enjoyer of Yoshi P's main, can't help but wonder if they'll mess with it more than 2-minute ley lines. Do you think that not even the boss himself can save the job from the 2-minute meta? I mean, the job is already on the 2-minute meta. If you want to play, like, yes, Black Mage goes back and forth between Fire 4, Blizzard. They're not on this strict GCD to GCD rotation like other jobs are. But you still are a 2-minute job. You still want all of your strongest skills lining up in that ley lines window. You don't want to go into it at a really poor time. You want to try to set yourself up to get as many Fire Force in that window. And more importantly, as many Xenoglossies, you know, a Thundercloud proc. You want to this double Despair. You need to fit a lot of GCDs in that pretty tight window. So it can be a little concerning. I think you actually ideally go into... Well, you ideally go into ley lines, you know, as you're going into fire. You don't want to enter ley lines going into blizzard unless, of course, you would start drifting the skill, which you really don't want. But you should be able to hit double despair and at least 2 Xenoglossies in that time. You'll have to use a Thundercloud proc at some point in there. And as long as you get all of those in the 2-minute window, then you're doing pretty good on Black Mage. It doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes the fights don't really allow it to work out that way. But that's really what you want. So while they don't feel like they're part of the 2-minute meta, they're still already part of the 2-minute meta. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Well met, Mr. Happy. Hello. What's the newest thing you've learned in life? That's a bit of a deep question. I have learned that I like raw crab. As a bit of a precursor, I had a Korean delicacy as of late called ganjang gejang, which is a soy marinated raw crab. Apparently it's frozen for a certain period of time to kill all the bacteria, and then it's marinated in soy, which further actually breaks down some of the bacteria and kind of marinates and almost kind of ceviches the meat that's inside. Not really, because it's not like you're really making a ceviche, but it kind of achieves that to some capacity. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. That's the thing I've learned the latest in life. Hashtag Mondays! Mr. Happy. Just Mondays, Mr. Happy. Not with me, just Mondays, all caps. Hey, Abs, how's it going? Hello. Hope made some good food today. What did I make today? I made like, just, I guess some grilled chicken over some fettuccine. I made a quick sauce with it with some pan-fried zucchini as well, some Parmesan, a little bit of creme fraiche, a little bit of butter with the pasta, salt, pepper, some parsley. It's pretty good. Wanted to weigh in the door boss convo. I always like door bosses as it's a nice breather. Like, you don't have as much of a long progress. A mistake sends you back like 14 minutes. So you think it's possible to achieve the breather feeling and still reconcile your feelings? I think the long cutscenes like Shiva are the breather. The breather that you're thinking of. Like, you literally have like a minute downtime in the middle of Shiva where you're just not doing anything. Even in Titan, going back to Eden, you have this like long period of time where you can kind of mentally relax. I think that's pretty important when it comes to those longer fights, but I don't ever feel like I have a breather with a door boss. When you're progging week 1 on these bosses, even not week 1, even if you're just like fresh progging and you get past that door boss that first time, you fight the second form, you work on it, you prog it, and then you exit the instance. And then you have to beat the door boss again. And everyone who's done it before can attest you almost never cleanly get through that door boss the second time right away. It still ends up being kind of a learning process in and of itself. And for me, that's not that satisfying. It's just kind of annoying to have to beat 2 separate bosses and only get loot a single time. So I just don't want... It's fine if they do it, just don't do it as much. And also, yeah, adding in like long transition scenes at some point, if you really want to cut down on active battle time, I think that is the solution for it, like Shiva does. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. By the way, if you occasionally hear like a tapping, it's my Fitbit. Google sent me one for free because I've had like OneDrive, like a paid OneDrive account for like years now. And yeah, I just bump into things occasionally. Hi there, Haps. First, hi, by the way. First, I want to say thank you for staying up for the live letter so us East Coasters did not have to. Well, I'm a West Coaster, might as well use that privilege. That being said, with JP FanFest being early 2024 and the past precedents of the expansion launching 5 months after JP FanFest, what are your thoughts for a 7.0 time frame? Why'd you even ask? Okay, so you're asking when early 2024 would probably be. Realistically, right now, all of our major patches are on a 19-week schedule. And then you have to look not at how many months after the JP FanFest, look at how many months historically after the final update we have gotten it. I think it's about 6 months on average. Let's see, because I actually did this like entirely the other day. I did it on stream. So we should be seeing patch 6.3 on either the first or second Tuesday of January. Depends on, you know, if they take like a holiday break, then I wouldn't expect to see it till January 10th, which would be a 20-week patch cycle. But their normal now seems to be 19-week patch cycle. So I was able to completely predict when patch 6.2 would come out. And I also predicted when Criterion would come out because I'm just following the patterns that they've laid out, just with the adjusted changes they told us they were going to be making by adding 2 weeks. So if 6.3 is January 10th. Then you have 1, 2, 3. I'll just say it's the 10th. The third is the 19-week mark, but let's just assume they do the 10th because they're waiting a week because the holiday season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. May 23rd would be patch 6.4. So that's before even the first FanFest. So then we have 19 weeks after that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. October would be 6.5, which is presumably our final patch. However, we know that we'll get a 0.55, we'll get a 0.58. 0.55 sometimes is 8 weeks, but actually with 0.55, it's viable to be up to 2 months historically. Let's go with the 8-week mark. What did I say? It was October 10th? I already forgot. Let's get back and do the math again. What did I say? Yeah, 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. October 3rd, I think. Man, I shouldn't be trying to do this in such a rush. Yeah, let's just assume. I think I did the math wrong again. I gotta go back and start from the beginning. Either way, if you're looking at mid-October for 6.5, you're looking at another 8 weeks, or you're looking at December for 6.55, and it's usually 6 months after that. So I would guess June. I think they want to get it back on a June-July release. That's where it was before Endwalker got pushed all the way back to December, and I think that's what they're going to be aiming for. So about a 2.5 year cycle, and I do think that will be the expected cycle going forward. I don't think they're going to catch back up because they're already adding dev time to the individual patches, plus they're going to be adding probably more time on top of that for the expansion. So yeah, I think we'll alternate between a summer-winter from here on out, and June. Late June would be my prediction for the expansion. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hey, Haps. Hi, how you doing? I'm doing all right. 2 small questions. Okay, I hopefully have 2 small answers. Recently in patch 6.1, I managed to clear my first ultimate out of Uwu, and shortly after I managed to clear Yukab, and almost instantly went for the totem farm to get all my shinies. May or may not have stashed a couple extra totems in hopes they're going to add missing weapons. How likely do you think this is going to be? They've acknowledged it's a big request and they're looking into doing it. I'd expect it to happen, just I don't have a time frame to give you. For the second question, I want to hear your opinion on how hard the new ultimates compare to the old ones for Stormblood. T is very front-loaded. If you can get past the first 2 phases, though, then you maybe have 1 or 2 more real big checks in that of Wormhole and just kind of getting used to the last phase. But otherwise, it's really just the pressure of those first 2 phases. Otherwise, it's really not that bad for the back, like, 7 to 8 minutes of the encounter. As for DSR, and none of the other ones even remotely compare. It is on a whole nother level. Even if I don't think individual phases are that much more difficult than previous expansions, it's not going to go great. it's not going to go great if you don't have that much experience. So have fun with DSR. Have fun. Hello, hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Love your content, and your channel has quickly become my go-to comfort channel. Thank you. I was wondering if you could explain what 2 chests means. Have a great day. Well, 2 chests, to see right here, you have your pecs right there. There you go. No, that's not what it is. No, 2 chests is just how many chests drop from a raid boss. When you kill a raid boss, traditionally, 2 chests hit the ground, and then you open them, and the loot's inside. So if you have people who have already cleared for the week, then you get less than that, Thus, you have a 1 chest and a 0 chest. Simple. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. What it is, Haps, ayo. Got a couple of quick ones for you if you don't mind. Must be very quick because this is literally the entire thing. Assuming there isn't a level squish for 7.0, do you think ScreenX will do something special at level 100? No, it's just another 10 levels. No, there's no reason for them to do anything special. Also, as unlikely as it would be, do you think they're doing something like this will work in place of adding new jobs? No. Well, I guarantee you we get at least 1 new job in every expansion. I have been saying for a while now that I think 7.0 will be either the last expansion we get 2 jobs, or the first expansion we get 1 job. So either way, that's where I'm at with that. But no, I don't think so, because they have to add new skills anyway. It doesn't matter. Like it can't replace a whole new job being added to the game. So that's it. Hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Hello, Haps. Hi, longtime watcher. Welcome. I have a question regarding State of the Realm. Sure. I saw Zeppela is going to be on the show next week. That was a wild show. That show, I actually had an idea of how it was supposed to go in my head. Absolutely none of that happened. I got to ask a few questions. I was like, yeah, I'll prepare a few questions just to make... Oh, okay. This is just so off the rails you can't even imagine. It was a lot of fun, though. Got me thinking. It's mostly just you and Sly on the show. Yeah. What streamer content creator would you pick if you could add to your mostly permanent cast? I mean, we had 2, but they've largely moved on from content creation. Ethis and Mary. Mary's still around, but he focuses on other stuff right now, just trying to do best by himself. And Ethis also, he's doing his own thing that, he believes is best for him at the moment. There are, so it's not that there aren't names that exist. I'm not going to say who they are, though, because I don't want to put anyone on the spot. I don't want anyone to think, oh, why not this person, or why this specific person. I've thought about it, but the idea of asking people to commit to a weekly show that's on my channel, that's the big thing. That's why I have trouble asking people to be on the show, period. Because Sly and I have already been doing this for years, so there's like a comfort there. And we're both kind of on the same page that, we do host it on my channel. But asking somebody else to every week, or to more frequently than not give up whatever their plans are for that week to be on the show more consistently, I struggle to imagine doing that. Not because they don't deserve it, but because that's just time away from what they need to be doing for themselves. So they'd have to really want it. And with the way the content creation landscape is right now, that's a really hard thing to do. You have to be a part of something almost assuredly that is helping you in some way. And I don't think being on State of the Realm is like some springboard or like some... It's not automatically a good use of that person's time. It's not a huge podcast. It's not... what did I say? It's not like... this make or break. It's not like being on Allcraft, for example. When you're on Allcraft, it can do a lot for you. If you're on State of the Realm, it's cool you're on State of the Realm. That's probably the best way to put it, I think. So I'm going to leave it at that. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Good morning, afternoon, evening, night. I never understood evening and night being different. I know why they're different. I get the difference. I don't get it. Hope you're not too exhausted today. For one serious... Oh, no, I'm pretty tired. Working hard. What can I say? There have been a lot of talks during the current balance of the jobs to talk about the Paladin rework to make it more in line with the current state of the game. During, I think, your last State of the Realm, your tank guest, that was Zeph, was talking about how liking the Paladin job feels gameplay-wise. I very much feel the same. I also agree with your point that the current homogenation helps play a wider array of jobs, but overall, I kind of prefer them to stay different so long as it remains to some of the player base to enjoy each. I think everyone has to like jobs. No, I also agree with that statement. Regardless, SC seems adamant in their new philosophy. Here's my question. What do you think needs to happen for Square Enix to move away from the 2-minute meta? They have to keep messing it up. That's actually the truth. If they keep having mistakes that are bore from this decision, they have to back off it in some capacity. They at least have to give us an inch, in the other direction. So that's honestly it. I don't think us just saying we don't want it or don't like it is enough, because it's something that is designed to make it easier for them to develop, and it's easier for the community to have like a baseline for performance of like how they can look to improve performance that isn't super kind of weird, like the really weird tricks you see on some jobs. There's less of that with this kind of standardization. But if they keep making mistakes that are bore from this decision and they don't correct them, that's going to lead to that being much more of a thing. So that's it. You just got to, if they make a mistake, give feedback. And if it happens enough and we seem unhappy enough, they will fix it sooner or later. Hey Haps, hi. Curious to know if you have any clue why Reaper is such an odd rotation. Not sure what you mean. Some sources say you should be fitting 2 Communios in your 2-minute window, yet it doesn't seem like there's a good way of doing it and fitting Gluttony in. You have to pop Arcane Circle in the middle of your Enshroud. You can't pop it before you can't do 2 Enshrouds all the way through and have your Arcane Circle affect them all the way through. I think, and I haven't played Reaper, so I'm trying to remember from when I played it at the start of the expansion. I think you have to Enshroud after using 2 skills in your first Enshroud. So you hit the third and fourth skill, the Lemure Slice, and then a Communio. And then I don't think there's an OGCD there, but then I think it's like Plentiful Harvest or a traditional GCD. It's whatever fits in that spot if you don't have Plentiful Harvest. Wait, no, you have to have Plentiful Harvest. Yeah. So I was thinking Harvest Moon. Yeah, so then it's Plentiful Harvest, and then I think you Enshroud again, and then you go through the whole thing, and then your last GCD in your buff window should be a second Communio. You did the first one before, and then the second Communio. And then I think your last OGCD before Arcane Circle falls off is a Gluttony. But it's super tight and really weird. And then there's also even funkier things you can do on top of that. It's just because Communio is a really hard-hitting skill, and you want to make sure you get it in there. So is Plentiful Harvest, and so is Gluttony. So getting the double Communio, Gluttony, and Plentiful Harvest, it's very awkward on how you do it, but it's pretty good if you can get comfortable doing it. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hey, Mr. Happy. Hi. I hope your day is going well overall and the cats are not being too needy. They're cats. Come on now. I'm going to play Devil's Advocate in a 2-minute burst meta. This is not where you want to play Devil's Advocate, my friend. You're absolutely correct to say that despite creating the meta, the devs like to place mechanics around the 2-minute mark. I personally think it's done on purpose to force teams to delay 2-minute bursts and allow players that made a mistake or died to catch up to the rest of the group. Well, if that's what they intend, it doesn't do that at all. Same can be said for a mechanic-focused phase of the fight where the boss becomes untargetable. Would you agree or disagree? No, so funny thing about that, there are jobs where if you do not set up your downtime correctly, your uptime is screwed. There are also jobs where if you have no uptime, you cannot generate resources, so you're screwed when the boss becomes available again. And so the only options for those jobs are to save resources from before and just, save them for after because there's a burst window, or to use them and then just accept they won't have as much. The choice there is obvious, but it's not a good decision because then there are jobs that literally do not have to care about that stuff and can just dump everything all the time. And then when the boss disappears and comes back, they go right into the burst window and they didn't have to plan it. They didn't have to do anything around it. So I don't think it achieves that at all. If that is their intention, I don't think it achieves that in any capacity, especially mechanics being during 2-minute windows. Nobody's catching up there because it's not about catching up. It's about everyone needing to be there at the same time. If you made a mistake even getting to that point, it's probably going to follow you for the rest of the fight, even with the delay. And then delaying sometimes costs you a 2-minute window when they do it during those mechanics. So you actually don't have a choice but to just use it on cooldown, or you risk losing one overall. So, yeah, it just doesn't work out that way. I would disagree with the notion. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hello there, and hope you have a good day. I hope tomorrow is a good day as well, because I have a good day, because it'll be the future. And I agree. I would like to have a good day also. You said on your stream that come 7.0, you expect devs to remove Bard's dots. I did say that. Since they are purely potency and no longer interact with the rest of the kit. And you'd rather them reintegrate dots instead of removing them. Yes, given the change that was made to allow Bards to get procs without keeping dots, how do you think dots should be reintegrated with the rest of the Bard's kit? I think that they just need to let them do procs again. I think it's good for downtime mechanics that your songs don't need them to proc, but I'd like to still see them be able to help, because then you could be a machine gun even more, just get even more procs with all the dots. Or they just need to, even the Sidewinder thing, it's not good enough for me. I just want some form of integration. Oh, it would be a nice easy way if your dots are different, do have a different effect or some sort of integration depending on the current song that you're in. Like maybe in Ballad, they're just the max level dots, but in Paeon, they become like Paeon's Wind Bite and Paeon's Venomous Bite, or whatever the heck they're even called now. I don't even remember. Played it for DSR and I just blocked it out of my mind at this point. And have some sort of additional integration, like based on the number of stacks that you have, these provide something. That's it. They could do it the other way around, where the song affects the dot in a new way instead of the dot affecting the song in a new way. That's probably the safest way to do it. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again. Hello, hello. Long-time lurker, first-time asker, and a recent patron with a request. Please turn on yearly donations. I guess I could, but... Question for a fellow lover of Final Fantasy Tactics. So just full disclosure, I really want a Tactics remake only because going back and playing it as an adult, I didn't like any of the methods of doing it. But I never finished Tactics when I was younger. I got like 15, 20 hours and really liked it, but just got tired of it because like, when I say younger, like I'm talking about like we were, 6th, 7th generation consoles by the time I finally went back and played Tactics. So, yeah, I just want it because I want a fully updated version, especially after playing like Triangle Strategy, Fate Tactics, playing games like that makes me go, yes. And of course, Tactics Ogre coming out soon. I have to want it. I love the Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions. I still play regularly on my phone. Basically giving up on a dream. So here's the thing. Do not give up your dream on a PC port because Yasumi Matsuno is working with Square Enix right now to help with the Tactics Ogre Reborn remaster. He's been tweeting about it nonstop. Just keep that man in the office and have him work on Tactics, okay? A Tactics remaster also. You know what? The dude still has the resources for Tactics 2. He brought a book with all the assets and art that they made for Tactics 2, which never got made. So just give it back and let him do it. Just come on now. I just want to see it happen. I don't know if he wants to do it, but I want to see it happen. Let's see. What, Mr. My question is your recommendation for a PC game or something I can play on my Chromebook? PC game. Oh, play Fate Tactics. If you're looking for a really hard tactics game, play Fate Tactics. Triangle Strategy is going to be out on PC soon. Play that too. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hello, Haps. Hi. How you and your loved ones are doing? We're doing all right. I hope everything's all right. Yeah, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. So in your last day of the realm, there were some comments talking about homogenization of jobs as of late. As someone who has leveled and played all the jobs, I cannot understand how people can say that every job feels the same. The question is, could you elaborate on the statement? So essentially, every job plays to get ready for their 2-minute window. They all burst at the same time. And while you might have a slightly different combination of skills that you need to press, like ninjas obviously going through all its mudras and its ninjutsus, its tenchi gens, all of that, while a monk is focused on its PB window, you still generally all look to achieve approximately the same thing. What I like to say the big difference between jobs is your path to power. How do you actually get to the point where you are hitting big in those windows? It's usually a decent bit different between every job, even if there are some overlapping themes. However, there used to be ways to play around different buff windows in different ways, depending on your team composition, and that allowed you to... It kind of gave you the room to grow, understanding, I have a ninja on the team versus, I have a red mage on the team versus I have a bard on the team. Like, where are their points of power and how can I play around them to make my DPS better? That doesn't exist anymore. So every job just has the same kind of singular line of thinking of, okay, 2 minutes are up. I'm going to do exactly this. And when I get back to 2s, I'll make sure I do exactly that. And even though it's different from what the other job needs to do at that exact same time, technically, we're all trying to achieve the same thing. And there's no real difference in how we are looking to maximize and optimize on the fight. That's really what it means. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hey, hi, hello, how you doing? Doing all right? You doing all right? I'm doing all right. Quick question. Any plans to continue uploading count up streams to the VOD channel? Yes. So the only reason that hasn't happened is ever since the raid tier came out, I have just been a mess. Like, I was losing sleep over, the added hours we were doing, the days we were losing, the stress of not being in there. It really messed with me. So a lot of that has actually been uploaded, but not been made public. But the answer is yes, including other things as well. But I am a one-man show. So when I'm doing these 12-hour streams, 4 or 5 days a week, plus I'm trying to do my regular YouTube videos, it just kind of slips my mind, essentially. And, I can't really pay someone just to upload my VODs. So I just need to streamline the time of day that I do it, pick a time of day and stick to that time of day is when I make sure I catch up to uploading that kind of stuff, because otherwise I'm probably just not going to get around to it. But the good news is I've saved those streams. I've been already uploaded. They just need to be edited, made public, and that's it. So bear in mind, I'm not super enthusiastic about all the Final Fantasy IV uploads that are going to need to happen. There's a lot of them because people really tried to torture me with Final Fantasy IV 3D. In terms of bonus incentives, because that game has some absolutely stupid bonus incentives that I decided to agree to for whatever heckin' reason there was. I don't really know why I did it. And on top of that, Final Fantasy IV is literally like perma copyright claimed. on YouTube. So let me just say I don't feel the most motivated, but I do need to do it. So I'll get around to it eventually. Hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Hi, Happy. Hi. I hope all is well with you and your mother, especially. Go eat. I actually ate right before this, and I have a glass of water. Delicioso. Anyway, on to my quick question. How long do you think they will support the console version? Forever. Literally, because the PS5 will never be outdated. And then if PS6 comes out, they just make it for PS6. The question is how long the PS4 version will be supported for. There's still a huge amount of players that use the PS4 version. As long as that number is really, really high and significant to them, they won't even stop that. And the PS4 is not really holding the game back in any capacity anymore. Not like the PS3 was in some ways. Not in the ways a lot of people think it was, but in some ways. It's really like just playing on a really low-end PC. And a PS5 does really well with Final Fantasy XIV right now. So that's it. But they'll never not have a console version of 14. Hashtag Happy Mondays. Yo. My static is only 6 people, so we raid with 2 randos. I don't know how people do that. I know a few groups that do that. I don't know how they do it. When pushing for a clear, I add bring materia to the PF description. Someone joins and doesn't have materia, I'll ask them why, and after they respond, I'll usually kick them. My friend in the static assistant being toxic. What are your perspective? So here's the thing. It's not toxic to expect it. It's one of those things that almost sounds toxic when you say it. But I'll say this. It's more toxic to do endgame content without materia. And just make up some bullshit excuse as to why you're not doing it. If you're watching this and you are not putting materia in your gear and you are doing Savage content, Extreme, I'd say if it's your main, you have no excuse on Extreme. If it's an alt and you just don't have it and you're just trying to fill in real quick, I kind of get it. But on Savage, no, dude. It's too easy to get materia. You go get your ass out there and you find that fucking dog. Sorry, I just saw a Billy Madison quote that needed to happen. You go get that goddamn materia. There's no reason not to. It's not hard to get. It's not hard to buy. It's easy. So I'd say saying it out loud is one of those things that seems toxic, but it's more toxic to be someone who doesn't use food pots and materia in Savage raids. Hashtag Mr. Happy Mondays. Hey, Haps. Hope all is well. Same to you. You've earned a buffalo chicken wrap. I do like a nice buffalo chicken wrap once in a while. Not very often, but, once in a while. Is there any plans to upload your Abyssos prog or any future prog to the VOD channel? Abyssos? No. The main reason that it's no for Abyssos is because of the vibe during it. You can really tell that a lot of us were not on the same page when we were progging. If you were to watch the entire VOD of our P5, 6, and 7, and eventually 8 prog, you can hear it in Ren's voice, you can hear it in my voice, you can see it in my face, and I just kind of say it out loud. So no, it's just, it's a little too real of a prog scenario, of a not all on the same page prog scenario that I don't think that's a good idea to upload onto the YouTube channel. Hell, I remember I uploaded our not P7, our 07 S-Kill back when I was with a different group, and at the very beginning, like, we died at 0.1% because somebody else died. And I was trying to figure out what the heck happened, and I thought it was the Red Mage. I was like, oh, no, guys, that wasn't the Red Mage's fault. It was because of this or something like that. And I got called toxic. I was like, what the fuck? I was telling my chat that it wasn't the Red Mage's fault. I thought it was the Red Mage's fault at first, but that it wasn't the Red Mage's fault, and I was wrong. I got blamed. Comment section flamed me so hard for that. So yeah, I definitely don't want to upload the recent prog because I'm a negative Nancy in that. Trust me. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hey, Haps. Hello. Just a quick question regarding navigating around copyright claims. Interesting. If I purchase an official fantasy song from iTunes, am I then able to use that song in content creation without being flagged? No. Buying a song does not mean you own the rights to the song. This is true of everything in life. When you purchase something, unless you have specifically purchased a license to use it, or the rights to the song itself, which is a very expensive ordeal, you cannot just freely use that song. Now, there are means to use songs under fair use, but even that is a careful navigation. You have to make sure you don't use more than maybe 2.5 seconds of the song at any given time. You can't just play it in the background and use it for whatever you want. And then when it comes to specifically video game music, there's a lot of video games that just don't care because the amount of work it would take for them to flag that and to go after people is not worth it. It happens with a lot of Final Fantasy songs. There are ones that get false copyright claimed as well and not even officially copyright claimed like you might expect. But no, you cannot buy a song on iTunes and then use it in a video. Heck, you can't even find a free download on the internet and use it technically. Almost all of my songs I've either bought a license for, or in the case of the few that I didn't, I spoke directly to the person, like they were somebody who I was an acquaintance with, and I asked them, and I have a written permission from them in case they ever forgot and they want to come after me, be like, oh no, hey, you agreed to this. If you want to change that, we can go ahead and do that, but we should discuss that. So yeah, almost everything that you had, like the generic theme you hear behind you right now, behind me, that I paid for that. I paid a license for that. So just bear that in mind when it comes to content creation. I think we're near the end, so I won't do a lightning round this week. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hey, Hap. Hi. Hope you're doing well and sending prayers and good vibes to your family. Thank you. My question is 2 parts. In regards to DSR compared to other ultimates, I myself and a majority of others I know are cleared are more inclined to go back to T, UCOB, and Uwu, but are burnt out of DSR mainly because the fight is too long, punishing, and very fast-paced. DSR had the pacing of Uwu, the punishment of UCOB, and the mechanics of T. So here are my questions. Okay, let me scroll down here real quick. 1, where would you place DSR in terms of fun, challenging compared to other ultimates? I think it's at the top. But I do agree that it is also the most, it's all of those things, and it's the most exhausting because of it. So it's brutal, man. Like I think to myself, like, yeah, I could go for another DSR token. Then I think about it, I was like, you know what? I don't need another DSR token. I'm good. I'm content with what I got so far. I'll go back and do UCOB because you know what it is? You can blast through UCOB and Uwu pretty easily. T, as long as you get past the first 7 minutes, it's honestly super easy. DSR doesn't have that. DSR is DSR all the way through, and including the 2-minute intro phase, it's like 21, 22 minutes, and that hurts. That's the long one. Do you think Serena should find a good balance between fun mechanics, puzzle pacing versus harsh difficulty? They just need to not release the same kind of harsh difficulty back to back to back. Like, our next ultimate cannot be anything like DSR. It probably needs to be about 15 to 16 minutes. It probably just needs to have some sort of deeper puzzle mechanic that we have to solve, and that's like the main gimmick. It needs to be more like Uwu. I think if it's anything like DSR, it will burn people beyond repair. DSR burns some people beyond repair. So yeah, I think they just need to balance when they're releasing one that's really made for like more fun prog and one that is harsh difficulty, and not all in the same one every time. You can achieve them at the same time, but I think that right now what we need is the former that you've listed and not the latter. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Oh, we have our first no hello for the week. People have been given some spares, so I think we're good. With New 16 news coming this month, I was wondering if you had a chance to ask Yoshida your big questions about the game, what they would be. I should probably put in a formal request to see if I can do some interviews about some of the stuff. He's so busy, so it's really tough to be just a content creator and influencer and try to get questions now. It's definitely a lot tougher to get him to find the time for that. What would they be? I wouldn't want to ask any questions. I just want to play it. When's the demo? That's my biggest question. When's the demo? Because I'll get to experience all these things for myself. I just need to play it. So when's the demo, Yoshi P? When is the... He doesn't even, you know what? There isn't even the demo. When is a demo? Give me a demo. If you're not planning one, give one to me. I need it. I need it. I need it. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hey, Haps. Hi. Hope you're doing dandy and fine. I'm doing all right. Just got out of Orbone for the first time, and just like the lighthouse, I come away empty-handed. How long queues are for every alliance raid besides the Crystal Tower? Do you think the looting system needs to be changed? Having to wait 30+ minutes, just have an extremely slim chance. People have been saying this for a while, just even outside of like the old raids, but even with like the newer ones, the idea of running one 10 times and not walking away with something that you want. Granted, with Orbone, there's no weekly lockouts, so it's like you could actually need everything that is for your role, and there's at least a moderate chance you'll get something. But that being said, no, people have been saying that they should allow you to use the coins to buy the gear as well, similar to the way that you would buy tokens. The only problem I have with that is the coins are used for upgrade materials, which is pretty significant. Upgrading tome gear by 10 item levels versus buying a 590 piece or a 6. What's the most recent one? 6. Well, 590 would have been... Yeah, that would have been a Glaya. Glaya would have been 590. But at the same time, I think to myself, like, anyone who really wants those pieces doesn't care about the upgrade materials that they can get with the coin. So I've been saying they should just allow you to buy a piece of your choice with maybe not one coin, but like if the piece matters that much to you, maybe multiple coins, but then that's backwards because you think the stronger gear would require more coins. So yeah, it's a weird spot. But yeah, no, I've been saying they should allow people to somehow purchase the rewards with some sort of token or currency for quite some time now. All right, and I was correct. There were not very many questions left, as that was the last one. And with that, that's going to be a wrap for this week's episode of Mondays with Mr. Happy. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and ask your questions in the comment section of the video below. Shout out to our patrons one more time. Shout out to our sponsors as well. Every Plate, remember, only until October 13th. Check out the link below. Steel Series with the discount code, and Advanced GG with the 10% discount code. Anyway, with that, I will see you all in the next one. And until then, take care.